Hi, it's the Demo Housewife here, and I am making up a barbecue sauce. Now, the reason that I started with cooking is because I modify all the recipes, which if you've been watching on my Facebook Live, you would know that I am trying to accommodate allergies and children. And it actually started with my children because my youngest is like me. She is prone to migraine headaches. And my oldest, she just has sensitivities to foods. And because of her specialness, let's just call it that, because of her specialness, she doesn't like textures. Sometimes she'll like flavors, but she doesn't care for the texture of a certain food. And when she was 10 years old, we had her evaluated, and the evaluator came back and said that she was off of the off chart for ADD, which we're now learning is in that autism spectrum. Now, the autism spectrum did not exist when she was diagnosed, so she has not been diagnosed with autism, and she tells me she is not going for retesting because she's cured. We had her in behavior modification therapy, and I learned through books. At the time that she was diagnosed, there were only 2 books written. One was the ADHD solution, and one was the ADD book, but written by Drs. Sears and Thompson, or Thomas, or something. Anyway, those books talked about how you don't really necessarily have to medicate because you can use diet and exercise to control symptoms and behaviors. So that's basically how I got started with this. Then I've talked over the years with people that have said, you know, this is really outstanding to hear this. This would be something that would be very worthwhile to pursue. So, you know, if you could give us pointers, if you could write a book or whatever, but I'm just lazy. I just haven't done it. So I got the idea, and I've been doing the Facebook Live around dairy allergy. I've studied zone diet and the blue diet, the paleo, keto. I mean, all of these diets I've looked at, and just, it's all about lifestyle and how you feel. And if you're craving something, then don't deny yourself. Figure out a way to have what you want, like in moderation, unless it makes you sick or puts you in the hospital. So that's kind of basically my philosophy on life. So what I do is I avoid preservatives. So I buy things that are natural, that have all ingredients, all fresh ingredients, and use whole foods. So from there, I make my own sauces, because many sauces contain preservatives. They contain ingredients that I don't like, ingredients that I don't want to feed my family or even to put into my own body, because they make me feel kind of sluggish or whatever. So what I'm doing today is I'm making some barbecue sauce. Now, last week I made the Worcestershire sauce that's two tablespoons of it is going into here. Now, the reason that I'm doing that is because there are things in store-bought Worcestershire sauce that I do not care for, like anchovy paste. It's real salty, and if you're trying to control your salt, I mean, just this way, I know exactly what went into this. I believe I gave the ingredients last time. So what I'm doing is I'm putting about a cup of ketchup into this saucepan. I love this pan. It's got a spout. I got this pan. It was one of the very first pans that my grandmother bought me that went into my hope chest when I was 16 years old. So I've had it for a while. Well, I lost my grandmother in 2003, so you can imagine I've had it for a while. Okay, so to this, I have already added the cloves of garlic. I did 2 pretty big cloves of garlic and I crushed them in my little crusher here. Now to this, I'm also going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar, brown sugar, and my spices. And my spices are simply the peppercorn medley, a little bit of white pepper, and a touch of cayenne. And I'm just going to incorporate this into here, about 2 tablespoons of the brown sugar. That's going to give me a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of thickness, and it's going to counterbalance that heat. Okay, so I've incorporated this, and now for my homemade Worcestershire sauce, about 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, some pure maple syrup. Oh yeah, this is looking good. Okay, and I already said apple cider vinegar and Worcestershire sauce. So those are my wet ingredients that I add to the ketchup. And on top of this, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of a good Woodford Reserve bourbon. So this is going to be a good bourbon barbecue sauce. I'll put this onto the stove and cook it at a very low heat, so it'll have like a low boil, and I'll cook it for about 45 minutes because I want it to get nice and incorporated here. Then I'll taste it and adjust from there. Now I have my spout here, so I'll just pour it into a jar of what used to be a barbecue sauce that I tried. And it was a good barbecue sauce, and it didn't have as many preservatives, but it wasn't basically to my liking. So that's just the sauce here, and I hope that you'll catch me live on the Facebook at, well, between 3:30 and 4. So I go between 3:30 and 4 on Fridays live on Facebook. So today I think I'm going to do crab cakes. All right, I hope to see you there. Thank you for watching.